Hello, my loves. It is approximately 15 degrees Fahrenheit here today. Just coming in from outside, and I thought, what a wonderful time to make a video. The topic of this video is going to be dreams, different types of dreams, what's going on in our dreams. A lot of times I will get asked questions in one-on-one sessions about someone's dreams, about what I feel or think is going on in their dreams. And so I would like to attempt to answer some of these questions in a way that is cohesive. I am not going to be covering probably every single type of dream, but I am going to be covering five main kinds of dreams. Okay. Um, so the first thing that I want to put out there to you is to think of your dreams as a connection to your higher source stream. Okay, your higher self, you, you, beyond, above, expanded from the you that is in this physical vessel. Okay, so there's all kinds of things that can happen in our dreams. There's all kinds of places we can go. There's connections we can make with energies beyond this physical realm that we are in. And so, dream work can be a very healing facilitator. It can be a very profound space for psyche integration, for remembering who you are, for bringing in aspects of your source stream. It can be a place where you begin to connect to some of your memories and your source stream, perhaps for the first time. Now, if you are in a space that is very depressed, very oppressed, very repressed, very suppressed, okay, emotionally, psychically, psychologically, you may say, "Oh, I never dream. I don't have dreams." Well, first of all, you probably just aren't remembering them, okay? And second of all, if you're in a space like I just described, it results in a sort of energetic contraction. And so, in order to move from that space enough to start to remember your dreams and start to be able to use your dreams to assist you and support you here, you can simply set intentions before you go to sleep at night, talking to your higher source stream, okay? Talking to you, higher self. I prefer to call it a source stream. It is the energy that is you, that is your soul flowing through you all the time, okay? And is always guiding you and assisting you and has a very broad, expansive perspective, not only of you and all you are navigating in this realm, but also where you are, what this realm is, and what lies beyond this realm, okay? Um, so just setting intentions, just asking your source stream to assist you. I have had times where, I've asked for sort of like specific things and like maybe that thing hasn't happened, but something else that was really meaningful has happened instead. Um, it is also meaningful to remember that there are times where when we are sleeping, we may sort of, uh, how do I want to put this? We may sort of experience the sleep state as a half asleep, half awake state. So it's like you're kind of awake, conscious in this realm, but you're also bringing in your true awakeness, your true consciousness of your higher source stream at the same time. So you might feel a little bit like kind of half in, half out. You might even um, see things or have conversations going on. And these are, for the sake of this video, going to be included in what I consider or call dreams, um, simply because they are a part still of not being awake here in this realm to some extent. Okay. Um, so the first dream that I want to go over, the first type of dream that I want to go over is what I call a psyche integration dream or a subconscious mind healing dream. And in these types of dreams, you're going to have opportunities to identify and integrate some of your inner child psyche energies or animus. If you're not familiar with the terms anima and animus, I highly suggest that you just do a Google search um, around what they mean, and perhaps I'll even drop a couple links in the description box, or just some notes so that you can see how things are spelled. Maybe I'll do that. Um, Psyche integration dreams are usually tied to something that you are working on within your awakening integration alchemical path. Okay. So if you are aware that you are working on some type of very specific healing space, okay, maybe, some type of inner child wound, some type of belief that doesn't benefit you, some type of programming, mother wounds, father wounds, all of those things. If you have awareness that you're working on something, or perhaps even like from an attachment theory lens, okay, healing insecure attachment, healing any type of trauma, okay. Um, a lot of times the dreams that you will experience are related to what you are healing and are very useful and helpful. But we need to be able to identify, oh, that dream is a psyche integration dream or a subconscious mind healing dream. Um, so that you can actually know what it's about and what it's helping you with. Okay. Sometimes these dreams will also just shine light on what we need to look at or what we need to heal. Okay. I'm going to give you a couple examples. So, one time I had a dream that my partner and I were in a minivan, and we went to a house, and there were a ton of children in all the different rooms of the house, a ton of children. And they were being kept there, not super malevolently, but they were being kept there. Okay. And the person who was keeping them there um, was a man who I have never seen before in this life, and the energies that he represented, I knew because of my work already at that time. I knew that he represented masculine energy healing within me. So bringing in the alchemy of air energy, balance divine air, masculine energy, balance divine fire energy. We can also relate this to animus energy, the masculine energy, in the psyches of women, and how there can be different sort of manifestations of this energy. So, for example, you might have a masculine energy within you that like thinks it's protecting you in some way and keeping you safe, but it's actually stopping you or holding you back from knowing that you are safe to be you, to be authentic, to bring all of you to this world, to open your throat chakra and speak, to open your heart and love with healthy integrated boundaries, of course, healthy integrated masculine boundaries that represent your spiritual sovereignty and your individuation and your divine right to forge your own creative path as a creator here, as the main character in your realm, in your experience. Okay. Um, and so I knew that he was a masculine energy that represented something that was well meaning. And even his behaviors in the dream, it was kind of like, oh, that's not cool. But then, well, that was loving, And it was like his whole, like his behavior was all about um, you could tell he thought he was helping, but he was actually holding back all of these children. And I went there to get these children. And I called this dream, um, going to get the children. Okay. In my dream notebook, that's the name of the dream, going to get the children. And by the children, I mean my inner children. Okay. And they were all different races, um, cultures, genders, um, ages. Okay. And in the dream, what happened was I went into all these rooms. And by the way, rooms in your dream, whenever you have dreams where there's like a house or a building and there's rooms, this typically represents your psyche, aspects of your psyche that are not yet brought to consciousness, not yet in your conscious mind, hidden, okay, in your subconscious mind or your unconscious mind. Um, and they were all in different rooms, and the different rooms were very dark. Many of them had beds. Beds in your dreams usually represent your subconscious mind or your unconscious mind, the sleeping parts of yourself that you don't have awareness for, that are in fact creating your reality anyway, because your subconscious mind is creating all of your mental interpretations. Okay. Um, and so in this particular dream, I went in, I got the children, I brought them all out. There was a swarm of bees in this dream, which bees for me have a very profound spiritual meaning. They have actually been with me very emphatically throughout this entire lifetime, assisting me with messages throughout. Okay. Um, I used to be terrified of them also before I realized that they were attempting to assist me and tell me things. Anyway, um, and we got all the children in the minivan and we brought them back and we brought them all to our home. And there happened to be 11 of them. Okay. And this number for me was also meaningful. Um, so anytime there's numbers in your dreams, you can Google the esoteric meaning behind the numbers, things like that, to just try to make some more sense. Um, so that's a really good example of a psyche integration dream. Okay. And I knew when I woke up that, oh, this is because I've been doing all this inner child work. I was doing a lot of work with my animus. And so it all made sense. And this particular dream created the space for me to really open and connect more to my inner child work when doing shadow work, through Carl Jungian perspectives or internal family systems perspectives, which is a newer model that, in my opinion, is very much based off of Carl Jung and shadow work, etc., but is used actually in even mainstream clinical settings now. Okay, but it's all about identifying, loving, and integrating, and parenting, psyche aspects of yourself that are disempowered, that are wounded, that are hurt, that are afraid. So we could say these are aspects of our lower mind, integrating and parenting them and leading them again with our higher mind, our higher source stream consciousness, which is the truth of ourselves outside of this mental holography that is created and fractured by various experiences that we have in this realm. Okay. Um, so yeah, so that's one example of a psyche integration dream. Um, Another example of a psyche integration dream may be less obvious. It may be some type of dream you're having where maybe someone you even know in this life is in this dream, and there's something really uncomfortable going down. There's a lot of tension, okay? There's a lot of emotion coming up in the dream. Well, that is pointing to something within you, some type of energy within you or emotion within you to heal, to identify, to integrate. Okay. And these types of dreams, again, they can look like so many different things. I would love it if you, in the comments below, even dropped examples of psyche integration dreams or subconscious mind healing dreams. Um, that are meaningful to you, and I can even read through and let you know, yep, that sounds like a psyche integration dream. Um, okay, so um, dream walking is the next one that I want to talk about. Now, the way that I think of dream walking or perceive dream walking or have experienced dream walking may be different than other interpretations of dream walking or definitions of dream walking. Okay, this is just my terms for things. So Dream walking is when we actually have an ability with our source stream, okay, which is your consciousness that is doing all kinds of things when your physical vessel is at rest, is asleep, okay, to go into the realms of others, okay? And I have had many different versions of what this might look like. I'm going to give you two different ideas, okay? The first one that I have experienced is where I know that I have actually gone into a dream of a loved one. Okay. And I have watched them in the dream. And usually for me, it will start inside my own lucid dream. So by that, I mean, I am out of body in some way. It might begin with an astral projection where I have awareness that I've left my body. Oh, look, this, or perhaps a lucid dream, you might even want to call it. Okay. I'm walking through my house. Maybe at first I don't know that it's a dream. I think it's real life because everything is so physical. And then something will happen that helps me understand, oh, this is a dream. I've left my body. Okay. And and then from there, usually as things morph in and out, that's where then I will find myself in a loved one's dream. Okay. And usually in a loved one's dream, I am just observing them in their dream, and I am doing something at some point to attempt to connect with them. Okay. And try to wake them up in some way to what they are experiencing. So, an example of that, one time I had a dream where a loved one was walking on a very snowy, well, it wasn't a dream, it was their dream, okay, but I dream walked into it. They were walking on a very snowy hill with a lot of pine trees, and I was watching them as they kept morphing in and out, sort of like fading in and out through the trees. And I knew that that was their experience, that they felt lost, that they were confused, and they were just, sort of, it was almost like they were sleepwalking. They kind of looked like a zombie. Okay. It was like a zombie walk. And they were just, sort of whoosh, 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 reappearing in different aspects of these woods, these trees. And so my emotional body was activated in this state, and I was concerned for them. And so I called to them and I said their name, and they didn't hear me. And so I called their name again and they didn't hear me. And I saw that they were very lost. And I knew that it was also like a symbol for their waking state when they're actually awake. And that's why they were having this dream. Okay. And so I called to them again with all my power. And this time my voice in this space, it sounded like preternatural. It had like a masculine, deep rah to it. Okay. And I called their name, and with my hand, I picked them up and I carried them over and I placed them down gently in front of me. And I said, "What are you doing?" And they were completely confused, didn't really make eye contact with me. Were still just very much asleep, you know, in their zombie state. And I asked them a series of questions that assisted me in understanding what they were navigating in this realm as a human being when they are awake. Okay. And that assisted me in helping to understand what they are navigating here, which also helped me to bring in different perspectives of any sort of codependence I was leading with, any ways in which I had any expectations on them at all to be or do anything, which is just silly because we are all inside our own mental holography. And so, this journey from the mind to the heart, which is this alchemical journey back to you, back to us, back to ourselves, is asking us to find love within ourselves, okay? And to see the holography of others with pure unconditional love. And of course, as I mentioned before, bringing in healthy, um, uh, divine spiritual sovereignty related boundaries, okay? Not from a place of fear or fighting or anything like that, but just knowing who you are and claiming it, okay? I always have to disclaim with stuff like this. Um, but we can be in unconditional love even from that space, and we can do what we can to support each other because it is true that we are all walking each other home. Very, very corny, I know, but it's actually true. Okay. So that's an example of dream walking. Another example that I can give you of dream walking, which is probably one of my favorite experiences of all time, of this incarnation during sleep states, was when I went to a really beautiful white building with very high walls, tall ceilings. My feeling is that it actually was sort of a higher realm, okay, that is still part of this construct, but not part of this actual realm. Okay, so a higher frequency realm that is a part of this construct that we are all in, but that you don't necessarily have access to if you're just trying to tap in through your five senses. Okay, so in this particular realm, I was walking with a tall man. He was sort of an academic type, and I was actually discussing with him and sort of teaching him, but he was also teaching me in his own way. Um, Around ways to perceive how we can awaken and come back to consciousness in this realm. And so I was sharing something with him and I was explaining to him a perspective. And I think that we were actually assisting each other because my feeling is that he is also an embodied source stream here in this world now, in this realm now, and that we were sort of assisting each other in this higher realm where we met in this dream state. Definite source family. I do not know him though. Okay. I don't know him according to my mind in this lifetime. Okay. So that was a really, really beautiful dream. And I was doing all kinds of things with my hands, and I was making mirrors shatter, and to sort of explain to him um, how belief systems work in this realm, and how we can, shatter them to get back to the truth of our source selves and things like that. Um, okay, so that's an example, another example for dream walking. Okay. Because my feeling in that space was that it was sort of like his dream and my dream met together in another realm, another place, but we were able to meet there through our dreams, like he was asleep at the same time. Okay. So those are two different examples of what I might consider dream walking. Um, Another example is probably my favorite. The third type that I want to go over is connection from higher frequency realms. Connection. Okay. Now, this can look like different things. So, um, the first way that I want to describe to you a dream that is energies in higher frequency realms connecting with you is when you have dreams in which messages come through that are really meaningful and powerful and healing for you. And it's usually like some sort of being that you don't know in this lifetime, in person, in physical form, shows up in your dream in some way. Okay, and assists you in some way, gives you some information. Okay, I'll give you a couple examples for this. One time I had a dream and I was very distraught in the dream, and I was driving in a car and there were a lot of potholes. It was a hot mess. I was driving on the wrong side of the road. I was crying. I had my children in the back seat. I was going through oh my goodness, a major aspect of my awakening. This is about 10 years ago now. And I got off the highway and I saw a farm stand along the side of the road. And I thought, I'm just going to pull up here. I'm going to pull over to the side so that I can cry because in the dream I felt that I wasn't even safe at that point to be driving because of my emotional state. And so I pulled over to the side of the road and a woman, now this is what I mean, a woman who was dressed in robes, brown robes with a headscarf, walked over to me from the farm stand carrying a notebook. And I thought to myself, so interesting. She thinks I'm here to purchase produce. She is going to take my order on a notepad or something like that. It's almost like a car service, a window service. And so when she got to my passenger side, of my car, I rolled down the window and I said to her, I just want to stop here for a minute. I just need to rest for a minute. And she opened the door and she got in and she sat in the passenger seat and she left the door open. Okay. And she turned and she looked at me and her, her presence was unconditional love and understanding. There was also a little bit of very loving, I don't want to say impatience, but sort of like, come on, Michelle, you know, you got this, let's get going here. Okay. And because at that point I was in a really, really, really tough spot, tough space. And you can see my eyes are filling with tears because I just have so much gratitude every time I remember this dream. She didn't She didn't say anything to me. She just stared at me and imparted information telepathically, information of love and encouragement. Okay. Let me know that it was up to me, though, that it would be in my time. And then she said to me, I'm just going to leave the store open for you. And she got out of the car and she walked away and she left the door open and I woke up. And so, of course, that was a metaphor for the door is always open for you anytime you want to walk through, anytime you want to remember who you are and get out of this wounded victim consciousness that you're in, the door is open. So that's an example of a connection from higher frequency realms. Okay. Um, in this particular case, you could think of them also as guides or higher aspects of yourself, of your source self coming in to assist you. Um, Another example of connection from higher frequency realms it could come across as actual information or how do I want to say this? Communication from other source streams that have already passed out of this realm and are in the higher realms. Okay, and so by this I mean they were here at some point and then they died, their physical bodies died, and now they are in higher frequency realms. It could be one of the heaven realms, just a higher frequency realm. Okay, and those two, so my experience with those, I used to have them when I was a teenager and probably when I was a child, although I don't really remember that as much, but I remember when I was a teenager. Then I shut that stuff down like through my 20s and most of my 30s. It's been in my 40s and I'm 46 now that I they've been picking up. They've been picking up. And I know that it is directly proportionate to the inner work that I'm doing, DNA strands turning back online, aspects of my brain turning back online, my openness, my willingness, and also integrating any fear energies that will prevent us from accessing these spaces, usually due to religious programming. Not that I was super loaded with that. That was not a major program that I had to get through in this realm, but it still comes across in so many ways for all of us. This entire realm, a part of the holography is just very disempowering, and so the idea that you are powerful and that you can communicate with energies, with beautiful source streams that just happen to be on the other side of this realm seems mystical, magical, woo woo. There's all types of programs that might stop you from realizing that it's actually completely normal and it's supposed to be that way. Okay. And so examples for this, I just had one last night. This is actually this was the thing that really sort of encouraged me to make this video, where a loved one of mine, a source sister that I've known in this realm for about 10 years now, she's also a client, um, a past pet. I don't even like the word pet. A past beautiful animal, source family animal that she had with her for many years, who just passed over, came through to me. Okay. And I was in that in between state. And as soon as he came through, I knew exactly who he was. And there were messages for me to bring to her. And so I called her today and I did that. Um, Another really beautiful example that I can give you for myself is over the summer, I did a private workshop with a beautiful elder, a beautiful source stream who is 83 and oh, very conscious and on this expansion path. She has been her whole life. She is a forerunner of freedom, in my opinion, and yet still working very much on integrating inner child wounds and things like that, and very aware that she's working on these integrations. And when she was visiting over the summer, um, a, 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 a BFF, a bestie of hers, that she was very close with when she was alive, came through. And that is probably the most expansive, profound experience that I've had with this type of communication, where it was entire sentences, long pieces of information, and to the point where I woke up and I picked up my phone and I went to the notes app and I just started, typing really fast and then asking questions. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? And just writing down everything that this beautiful source stream was telling me to pass on to this other beautiful source stream that was at my home here, spending the weekend in the guest house that I use for workshops, for in-person workshops. And I was so grateful because this beautiful source stream who has the ability, I don't know her in this incarnation, but has the ability to know me because she's above it all and can see it all. She also gave me a really beautiful message for myself that I'm so grateful for. It was perfect. It was perfect. Um, so that's another example. I've also had times where like there was one time where I had a dream of it was sort of like a roundabout thing. I actually had a dream of a beautiful source stream that I love so much that I've been close with for many years. And it was her in the dream, and she's here. She's in this physical realm with us still. But she was telling me things about her father who had passed. And when I woke, I knew it was actually a message from her father that I was meant to give to her. But see, we're very creative, we source streams. And so on the other side, he knew that he had to show me her. She was sitting in a chair talking to me, just sharing with me. He had to show me her so that I'd know that the message was for her. Otherwise, some stranger that I don't remember that I've never seen before, right? Like I would have been like, what is this about? I don't know. But because it was her and she was sitting in a chair and she was sharing with me about her father and the way the message rolled out, and for privacy reasons, I'm going to keep that all very, very on the DL. Um, I was able to know that it was for her and that it was from her father. And then when I told her, she was able to share with me all these synchronicities, just all this stuff that was just like so much evidence that it had been him. Okay. And in that dream, he also gave me a nugget of support and love. And so that was really beautiful too, just the way that we're all supporting each other on both sides of this veil, right? So that's an example. Those are examples of connection from higher frequency realms. Um, actually, let me give you one more. Another way that I receive connection inside of these dreams from higher frequency realms is it will be just beings that are in higher frequency realms or aspects of my source self that are literally telling me things or showing me things, like instructing me, like reminding me of things. Okay. Or giving me information to assist me through a really tough challenge, information that my source stream knows, but my human mind, my holography is temporarily forgetting, and I'm in some kind of a trap, a mental trap. And so they will remind me of things in ways that are meaningful to me. And a lot of times there are visuals to this. There will be a visual, a very clear visual. Okay. And then also one or two sentences that are very simple that just come through in a very loving, chill kind of voice, an example of this, like one time, I saw the number nine really big with blinking lights all over the number nine, just a big number nine, blinking lights. And the voice was, "What you don't want to be doing is obsessing." And of course, my source stream knows that the number nine is very meaningful to me. Um, in terms of its representation of reconciliation, of active and passive forces, neutrality, 369, okay, masculine, feminine energies, the third force that is born. Lots of meanings there for me, but primarily if I see nine, I associate it with neutrality or reconciliation of opposing forces or tension. Okay. And so it always represents to me balancing my mind, bringing in air energy and alchemy work. Okay. And so that's another example. Okay. So those are three different kinds. We went over the psyche integration, subconscious mind healing, inner child type of dreams, dream walking, connection from higher frequency realms. Okay, let me just pause for 1 second here. Okay, I just had to sort of recalibrate myself and get my bearings a little bit because that was a lot of information. Um, okay, so the fourth type that I want to talk about is astral dreaming. And so by that, you might even call it astral projection. This is the type of dream, a lot of times it will start with sleep paralysis, but not always. Okay. For me, when I was in my teens and my 20s, it always started with sleep paralysis. But now, a lot of times, it's not sleep paralysis originated. I'll just find myself outside of my body, and I know that I'm outside of my body and I'm going places and I'm doing things. Okay. And so that, but this is when it's like you're still like in this realm in a sense, but you're in the astral version of the realm. So like your bedroom might look similar but different. Your house might look similar but different. Um, I remember on one occasion, this was back when I was like in my 20s, and my husband at the time, my ex-husband now, was downstairs on the computer when I was taking a nap, and I was actually really scared because this was when sleep paralysis and astral projection terrified me because I had no idea what it was. This is more than 20 years ago. And I flew down to him and I was screaming at him to wake me up. I was like, "Wake me up! Wake me up!" Because I kept popping in my body, but I'd still be stuck, and so then I'd leave it again. Um, and he was on the computer typing away, and of course he could not hear me. He had no idea that my consciousness was screaming at him behind him to come into the bedroom and wake me up. And when I did wake up not long after that, I went downstairs and guess where he was? On the computer typing away, because I actually was able to see him. So, yeah, so you will see actual, real physical things going on, real people, things like that, that are actually in this realm. Another time, I flew all the way back to my childhood bedroom. Um, Another time, I just kept sort of looping from the bathroom back to the bed because I actually had to pee. So I have sleep paralysis, get out of my body. I have to pee. I'd walk into the bathroom. I would pee. A couple times I looked in the mirror. Um, And every time that I looked in the mirror is what would remind me, oh, I'm actually not really awake right now. And that would just whoosh, suck me right back into my body. Okay. And so that's an example of astral projection. Um, the fifth kind that I want to talk about is what is known as an out of body experience, which a lot of the dreams, some of the dreams, not a lot of the dreams, but some of the dreams, like for example, the dream walking and the connection from higher frequency realms, sometimes those take place within out of body experiences. Okay. I want to differentiate astral projection from out of body because astral projection still kind of, it's exactly what it sounds like. You're in the astral. So you're still sort of like, I don't know, like magnetized to this realm in a way. Um, and within those spaces, a lot of things can come up too. Like you might have fears, I guess. Okay, bear with me because I'm going back to astral projection a little bit, astral dreams. You might have fears come up. You might see your thought forms, scary things, entities, demons, things like that. You might see them in the astral. You might also see other really interesting creatures. I remember one time, it was the first time that I ever like purposefully sent myself into an astral projection when I was like experimenting with things. And I saw this really beautiful sort of like swan. It wasn't a swan though, it was some type of bird, maybe like a mix between a phoenix and a swan. And it had all these beautiful colors and it was very proud of itself. It thought it was very beautiful and it was spinning in circles for me to admire it, and I was like, "Oh, you're so pretty. You're so pretty." And then, I popped back into my body. Um, but the difference between out of body experiences and astral projection is that in out of body experiences, you will go beyond the astral. You will get beyond the astral and you will go to different realms. You will meet up with other people in their realms or other source streams, rather, in their realms, and different things can go down. Now, this is a space that for some people, they have way more experience in than myself. Some people will talk about how they access different realms and they have 100% clear memories where they brought back a lot of information. They could even see this entire construct from the outside of the construct. I have not gotten to that point yet in my journey. I intend to. But I have seen enough that everything I hear them say, I know is accurate based on what I have experienced inside of my experiences, not to be redundant. Okay. So, yeah, I hope that this is helpful. Again, if you want to comment below, with different dreams you've had and see if I can maybe help you figure out like what type of dream it was, or it might be in its own category. Because like I say, I know that I'm not covering all the categories here right now. Please do so. And really, the last thing that I want to leave you with is that all this stuff is just evidence that you are a multidimensional being. Okay. So I'm sharing this to empower you. I'm sharing this to, I don't know, assist you, sort of giving you a key in waking up your mind again, getting out of that lower mind mental holography and remembering that you are a gorgeous source stream that is flowing through you all the time. You exist beyond the physical appearance of this realm. You exist beyond the edge of your skin. This is true. It has been forgotten. It used to be known by the ancients. It was no secret. Okay. And so, yeah, dreams can be a really beautiful landscape to help connect us to that remembrance on the awakening consciousness integration alchemical path. Okay. Lots of love. Check out the description in the link below for my online workshop. It just started. There's about, I think is there six of us or seven of us? I don't know, something like that right now. It is hot. It is on fire. It is amazing. It's going to be amazing. If you are interested in joining it, email me. Okay, email me. I will put that information in the description box as well. There's a ton of stuff happening in that space that is all about your integration and your empowerment and remembering who you are. Okay. All right. Big love, Source Stream. Remember who you are.